When life gets heavy, when the world feels like it's pushing against you, your happiness cannot wait until everything is perfect. Because let me tell you, life will never hand you perfection on a silver platter. Life will never pause all of its chaos just to let you breathe. If you sit there waiting for the storms to pass before you allow yourself to smile, you will spend your whole life waiting. Happiness isn't something that arrives at your doorstep when everything is calm. Happiness is a choice you make, a discipline, a strength you build, especially when life is hard. You see, people think happiness comes after success, after healing, after things are finally fixed. But real happiness doesn't work like that. Real happiness is created in the middle of the storm. It's in the way you choose to wake up every morning and say, I will not let this world steal my life. It's in the way you keep moving, even with heavy shoulders. It's in the way you refuse to let pain define the rest of your life. That's strength. That's power. There will be days when you won't want to get out of bed, days when your chest feels too heavy to carry, days when you question whether any of this is even worth it, and those are the exact days where you must fight harder for your joy, not fake joy, not pretending, but the kind of joy that comes from choosing to see life as a gift, even when it hurts. You breathe. That's a gift. You open your eyes and you have another chance. That's a gift. And if all you can do is whisper to yourself, I will try again, then you are already stronger than you think. Happiness is not a destination. It is a muscle you build. Every time you choose peace instead of anger, you build it. Every time you choose gratitude instead of complaints, you build it. Every time you choose to believe in yourself instead of drowning in doubt, you build it. And slowly you realize that happiness doesn't depend on what happens to you, but on how you decide to face it. Stop waiting for the perfect timing to allow yourself to feel joy. Stop saying, I'll be happy when I get that job, when I heal, when I find love, when I'm out of pain. Because life doesn't work on your timeline. Happiness has to be claimed in the middle of your mess. You have to be brave enough to say, even if life is hard, I will not let it take away my joy. Even if I fall, I will rise and find a reason to smile again. Happiness is a choice. It is not something you wait for. Not something that arrives like a package on your doorstep. Too many people sit and wait for life to get easier before they allow themselves to smile. They wait for the job, for the money, for the relationship, for the healing, for the perfect timing. They keep saying to themselves, when this happens, then I'll finally be happy. But what they don't realize is that life doesn't stop. There will always be another problem, another storm, another challenge. If you are always waiting for the day when everything is flawless, you will waste your entire life waiting. You need to understand something. Your happiness is your responsibility, and it is a choice you make every single day. It doesn't matter what life throws at you. You can't control the outside world, but you can't control what goes on inside of you. And that control, that decision to choose joy is where your power lies. If you leave your happiness in the hands of circumstances, then you are giving your power away. You are saying, I cannot be happy until the world is kind to me. But the world won't always be kind. The world will test you, break you, and push you to your limits. And in those exact moments, you must choose to rise. Do not misunderstand. Choosing happiness does not mean ignoring your pain. It does not mean pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It means giving yourself permission to feel joy even in the middle of difficulty. It means not allowing pain to consume the whole of you. Yes, you are hurting, but you can still find something to smile about. Yes, life is unfair, but you can still notice the small gifts around you. Choosing happiness is an act of rebellion against the chaos. It is saying, I will not let the darkness swallow me. You have to push yourself into this mindset because it doesn't come naturally when you're suffering. Your mind will try to convince you that happiness isn't possible right now. It will whisper, just wait until things get better. But the truth is, happiness is possible in this moment right now. As you are, look around you. There is always something you can be grateful for. It might be small. It might be the fact that you are breathing, that you woke up today, that you still have a chance to keep going. Do not underestimate these small things. Gratitude for them is the foundation of happiness. Every day you are faced with choices. You can wake up and choose bitterness, or you can wake up and choose gratitude. You can focus on what is wrong, or you can focus on what is still right. You can let the pain harden you, or you can let it strengthen you. Happiness is not found in what happens. It is found in what you choose. And those choices add up. Every time you choose to see the good instead of the bad, you are rewiring your brain. Every time you refuse to let negativity control you, you are training your mind to be stronger. That is why happiness is not just a feeling. It is a discipline. It is something you practice, something you push yourself into, especially when you least want to. Think about it. The strongest people you admire, the ones who inspire you, they are not happy because life was kind to them. They are happy because they built their happiness in the fire. They chose joy when they had every reason not to. They chose light when life gave them darkness. And that's why they shine differently. You have that same power. The only thing standing between you and peace is the belief that you need the world to give it to you. Stop waiting. Stop begging life to be easier. You have to create your joy right here in the middle of your mess. Push yourself. Push yourself to smile when it feels impossible. Push yourself to keep your heart open when it wants to close. Push yourself to believe that you deserve happiness, even if the world hasn't been kind to you. Because you do. You deserve to feel alive. You deserve to feel peace. You deserve to wake up and say, no matter what happens, I choose to protect my joy. That choice is yours, and nobody can take it away. The truth is, happiness is not waiting for you in the future. It's not hiding behind achievements or success. It is right here within you, waiting for you to claim it. The question is, will you be brave enough to choose it? Even when life is hard, even when nothing feels certain, that's where real strength lives. Happiness is not a reward. It is a daily decision. And the moment you understand that, you take your power back. Life will never hand you perfection. It will never pause all of its storms just to give you a clear path forward. Yet, so many people spend their whole existence waiting for the perfect timing, waiting for the pain to fade, waiting for the moment when everything finally makes sense. They keep telling themselves, when I have this, when I achieve that, when I'm healed, then I'll finally allow myself to be happy. But let me tell you something. You'll waste your entire life in that waiting room because perfection is a myth. Life does not suddenly become smooth and easy. Life is constant waves, and if you are not willing to dance in the middle of those waves, you will drown in your own hesitation. Perfection is an illusion, and the more you chase it, the further away joy will feel. You keep postponing your peace because you believe the conditions aren't right. You tell yourself you'll start living once you feel ready. But do you know when readiness comes? Never. You are never fully ready. The moment you realize that life is messy, imperfect, unpredictable, and that's okay, you start to free yourself. Happiness cannot be conditional. Happiness cannot wait for everything to line up neatly. It has to be chosen despite the chaos. And that's where so many people get it wrong. They think happiness is supposed to arrive when they finally get the job, the relationship, the money, the recognition. They think it lives in the future, and so they keep chasing it. But the truth is, when you do achieve those things, there will always be something else missing. There will always be another mountain to climb. That's why happiness cannot be attached to outcomes. Because if you only allow yourself to be happy once you've arrived, you'll never really arrive. You'll always be reaching, always searching, always waiting for the next thing. You need to let go of this obsession with perfection. Stop saying, I'll be happy when stop attaching your joy to conditions. Life is happening now. This moment, even if it feels broken, is your life. And if you don't learn to find joy in the cracks, you will miss it. Perfection is not the point. The point is presence. The point is learning how to smile in the middle of the mess, how to find peace even when your world feels upside down. That is real power. Think about it. Some of the most inspiring people you've ever seen are not the ones who had perfect lives. They are the ones who built joy in spite of pain. They are the ones who stood tall while everything around them crumbled. They are the ones who smiled when they had every reason not to. Why? Because they understood that waiting for perfection was a trap. They understood that happiness cannot be postponed. It has to be lived now. So why are you holding back? Why are you convincing yourself that you can't be happy yet? Life is never going to stop testing you. There will never be a time when everything is completely calm. There will always be something, a problem, a challenge, an unanswered question. If you're waiting for it all to disappear, you'll wait forever. You need to be bold enough to say, even though my life isn't perfect, I choose happiness today. That is what separates the strong from the weak. That is what creates resilience. That is what gives you freedom. Understand this life is not about control. You can't control the storms. You can't control the losses, the setbacks, the disappointments. But you can control the way you choose to show up. You can decide that even in the middle of imperfection, you will find light. That choice will change you. It will shift your energy, your perspective, your future. Because when you stop waiting for perfection, you stop living in delay. You stop wasting your time. You start to own your life. So, push yourself to let go of the fantasy that life has to be perfect before you deserve to smile. Push yourself to embrace the mess, to embrace the uncertainty, to embrace the now, because the now is all you truly have. And when you choose joy in the now, you are unstoppable. You are untouchable. No storm can take away a joy that you built yourself. Perfection is not the goal. Perfection is not real. The goal is to find peace in imperfection, to stand tall in uncertainty, to choose happiness even when life is heavy. That's where your power is. That's where your strength is. Happiness is not something you wait for. It's something you claim right here, right now, exactly as your life is. Happiness is not something you discover once the storm passes. It is something you create while the storm is raging. People often convince themselves that once life calms down, once all the problems are solved, then they will finally have peace. But storms never really disappear. The moment one ends, another begins. That is the rhythm of life, waves of calm and chaos. If your happiness is dependent on waiting for peace outside of you, you will forever feel like it is out of reach. The truth is, happiness is built inside the storm. It is a skill, a strength, a decision you make when everything around you is telling you to collapse. It is easy to feel happy when things are going well. Anyone can do that. But the real test of your spirit is how you respond when life feels unfair, when you are in pain, when nothing is going your way. That is where happiness becomes powerful. Because choosing joy in the storm is not easy, and yet it is the only way you grow. Every time you stand up with a smile in the middle of the storm, you are telling life, you will not defeat me. Every time you choose to see something good, even when it feels like everything is bad, you are strengthening yourself. That's how inner peace is built, not in comfort but in challenge. There will be days when your chest feels heavy, when it feels almost impossible to breathe, when every thought in your head is darker than the last. Those are the days when you must fight for your joy the hardest. Happiness built in the storm isn't fake positivity. It's not pretending everything is fine. It's not denying your pain. It is simply refusing to give your pain the entire stage. It's saying, yes, this hurts. Yes, this is hard, but I will not let it take away my light. That balance, acknowledging the pain while still holding on to joy, that is true strength. Think of the strongest people you know, the ones who inspire you. Do you think their lives were perfect? Absolutely not. They faced storms that could have broken them. The difference is they built their joy within those storms. They decided to rise anyway. They decided to laugh anyway. They decided to find beauty even when surrounded by darkness. And that choice, that resilience is why they glow the way they do. Happiness in the storm gives you a glow that can never be taken away. You have to stop waiting for life to hand you reasons to smile. You have to create them yourself. Find the small things. The way the sky looks when the sun is rising. The sound of laughter, even if it's your own. The fact that you are still alive, still here, still breathing. These small things are anchors. They remind you that even in chaos, life still holds beauty. And if you focus on that beauty, even for a moment, you shift your energy. You remind yourself that joy is still possible, that hope still exists. Happiness built in the storm also changes the way you see challenges. Suddenly, they are no longer punishments. They are training. They are lessons. They are opportunities to grow stronger. Because every storm you survive teaches you that you can survive the next one. And every storm you face with joy teaches you that nothing outside of you can ever truly break you. Life becomes less about avoiding pain and more about mastering your response to it. And here's the truth. Life is always going to be unpredictable. You cannot stop the storms from coming, but you can stop them from destroying your spirit. You can decide that your joy will not be taken from you. You can decide that you will smile even when it rains, that you will dance even when it storms, that you will shine even when it's dark. That is how you take your power back. That is how you become untouchable. So the next time life feels unbearable, remember this: you are in the storm, yes, but you can still choose happiness. You can still find gratitude. You can still create moments of light. It won't always be easy, but the more you practice it, the stronger you will become. And one day you will look back and realize that the storms you thought would break you actually made you unshakable. Push yourself. Push yourself to choose happiness when it feels impossible. Push yourself to see light when all you see is darkness. Push yourself to keep going, to keep rising, to keep smiling in the face of pain, because happiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. And when you build it in the storm, it can never be taken from you. Gratitude is the seed of happiness. Without it, you will always feel like something is missing, no matter how much you achieve. People often think that happiness comes from having more money, more recognition, more success. But when you live like that, you will always be chasing. You will always be hungry for what you don't have, blind to the blessings right in front of you. Gratitude is what shifts your focus. It takes your eyes off what you lack and opens them to what you already hold. And the truth is, you already have so much more than you realize. Think about it. The fact that you are breathing right now is a gift. You opened your eyes this morning. That was not guaranteed. Your heart kept beating all night while you were asleep. Do you know how many people didn't wake up today? Do you know how many would give anything to have one more chance at life? But you got that chance, and yet you spend it complaining. You wasted chasing after things that might never bring you peace. Gratitude is not about ignoring your pain. It is about recognizing that even in the middle of pain, there is still beauty. There is still life. There is still something worth holding on to. And when you begin to practice gratitude, you shift your energy. Suddenly, your life doesn't feel so empty anymore. Suddenly, you notice the small joys, the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of your favorite song, the laughter of someone you love. These things seem small, but they are everything. Happiness is built on these small foundations. Gratitude teaches you to see them clearly, to feel them deeply. Without gratitude, your mind becomes addicted to complaints. You focus on everything that is wrong, everything you don't have, everything that hurts. And what you focus on expands. The more you feed your mind negativity, the more negativity you will see. But when you choose gratitude, even for the smallest things, your mind begins to shift. You start to see possibilities instead of problems. You start to feel light instead of heaviness. Gratitude doesn't remove the challenges from your life. It removes the poison of constantly dwelling on them. It is easy to be grateful when everything is perfect. But that's not real gratitude. Real gratitude is when life feels heavy and you still whisper, thank you. Real gratitude is when your world is falling apart and you still find something to hold on to. That is what makes it powerful. That is what builds resilience. Gratitude in the storm makes you unstoppable because no matter how hard life tries to break you, you always find a reason to rise. And gratitude is not just about words, it's about perspective. You can wake up and say, I have nothing. Or you can wake up and say, I have another chance. You can say, my life is full of problems. Or you can say, my life is full of lessons. It's the same life, but gratitude changes the way you see it. And the way you see your life will determine how you live it. So many people spend their entire lives chasing happiness in the future while ignoring the blessings of the present. They think once I have more, once I achieve more, then I'll feel fulfilled. But fulfillment comes from gratitude, not from accumulation. Gratitude teaches you that right here, right now, even with all the imperfections, your life is still worth celebrating. And when you live with that awareness, you stop chasing, you stop waiting, you begin to live. Gratitude also protects your energy. When you are grateful, you are less likely to compare yourself to others. You no longer need to measure your life against someone else's because you see the value in your own. You stop saying, why don't I have what they have? And start saying, I am thankful for what I do have. That shift protects you from jealousy, from bitterness, from resentment. It allows you to walk through life with peace instead of constant dissatisfaction. Start small. Every day, find at least one thing to be grateful for. Write it down, speak it out loud, hold it in your heart. At first, it might feel silly, but over time, you will feel the difference. Your focus will shift. Your energy will rise. Gratitude will become your default, and happiness will naturally flow from it. Remember this, gratitude is not about denying your pain. It's about refusing to let your pain blind you to your blessings. You are not being asked to pretend life is perfect. You are being asked to remember that even in imperfection, there is still good, and that good is enough to keep you moving, to keep you hoping, to keep you alive. Push yourself to be grateful, even when it feels impossible. Push yourself to notice the beauty in the ordinary. Push yourself to stop complaining and start appreciating, because the more gratitude you choose, the more happiness you will feel. Happiness is not about having everything. It's about appreciating everything. And once you understand that, you will never again feel like you are lacking. Happiness is not something that magically appears one day. It is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be trained, practiced, and strengthened. The problem is that so many people treat happiness as if it's a stroke of luck, something that either happens to them or doesn't. They sit around waiting for life to make them happy. They wait for circumstances to change, for people to treat them better, for opportunities to show up. But happiness doesn't work that way. Happiness is built. It is created by the choices you make, by the mindset you train, by the way you respond to what life throws at you. Think about how a muscle grows. You don't wake up one day with strength. You build it over time. You push yourself through resistance, through weight, through effort. You tear down and rebuild. That's how you grow. Happiness is the same. Every time you choose peace instead of anger, you strengthen it. Every time you choose gratitude instead of complaining, you strengthen it. Every time you choose to rise instead of crumble, you strengthen it. And the more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Eventually, happiness becomes your natural state. Not because life got easier, but because you trained yourself to see and respond differently. Most people think happiness should come effortlessly, that it should just appear when things go right. But effortless happiness doesn't last. The moment life shakes you, it disappears. That's why building it like a muscle matters. Because when you've trained yourself to choose joy, no matter what, storms can come and you'll still stand strong. Pain can show up, but it won't destroy you. Setbacks can happen, but you'll know how to rise. True happiness is not fragile. It is resilient. And here's the thing, training your mind for happiness requires discipline. Just like going to the gym, there will be days when you don't feel like it. Days when your thoughts are heavy, when negativity feels louder than positivity. Those are the days when the training matters most, because it's easy to be happy when everything is smooth. But when life tests you, when your heart feels heavy, that's when you must push yourself harder. That's when you build the strongest muscle. Choosing happiness doesn't mean ignoring your struggles. It doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. It means refusing to let your struggles dictate your entire existence. It means saying, yes, this is hard, but I am not going to drown in it. It means finding even the smallest reason to keep going, to keep smiling, to keep breathing. That small choice, repeated over and over, becomes a habit, and habits shape your life. When you practice choosing happiness daily, you start to notice how much control you truly have. You stop waiting for life to make you feel good, and you begin to create that feeling yourself. That's real freedom. Because circumstances will always change. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. Storms will come. But if your happiness is a muscle you've trained, nothing outside of you has the power to destroy it. You carry it with you everywhere. This is why you must be intentional. Just like you wouldn't expect your body to get stronger without effort, you can't expect your mind to stay joyful without practice. You have to feed it gratitude. You have to challenge it with positive focus. You have to strengthen it with resilience. And just like exercise, it will feel uncomfortable at first. Your mind will resist. It will want to fall back into negativity, into old habits of complaining and self-pity. But the more you train, the easier it becomes. Eventually, it's not forced anymore. It's natural. Look at the people who radiate peace and happiness no matter what. They are not lucky. They are disciplined. They have trained their minds daily to choose differently. And that's why nothing shakes them. That's why they carry light even in the darkest rooms. You can become that person too, but it will not happen if you sit around waiting. It will only happen when you push yourself, when you decide to practice happiness like it is a skill you must master. So every day, make the small choices. Choose gratitude when you wake up. Choose peace when someone tries to provoke you. Choose hope when everything feels uncertain. These choices might feel small, but over time, they become your strength. And one day, you'll realize that happiness is no longer something you are chasing. It is something you are carrying within you. Push yourself to practice happiness even when it feels forced at first. Push yourself to train your mind to see beauty in the ordinary, to protect your peace, to rise above negativity. Because the more you train this muscle, the stronger it becomes. And when happiness becomes your strength, nothing in this world can take it away from you. Stop tying your happiness to things outside of yourself. That is the fastest way to live a life of disappointment. Too many people believe that once they get the right job, once they make enough money, once they find the perfect relationship, then they will finally feel whole. They convince themselves that happiness lives in some achievement, in some milestone, in something they don't yet have. But here's the truth. If you cannot find happiness where you are now, you will not find it when you get there either. Because external things don't fix the emptiness inside of you. They may give you temporary pleasure, but they cannot give you lasting peace. Think about it. How many times have you wanted something so badly? You told yourself, once I get this, then I'll be happy. And when you finally got it, the joy lasted for a moment, maybe a few days, and then it disappeared. Suddenly, you were reaching for the next thing. That is the trap of attaching happiness to outcomes. It keeps you in an endless chase. You never arrive. You never feel fulfilled. You are always running after something outside of yourself, and the finish line keeps moving further away. Real happiness doesn't come from what you achieve or what you own. It comes from who you are inside. It comes from your mindset, your perspective, your decision to see life differently. External things can add comfort to your life, yes, but they cannot create joy. If you are empty inside, no amount of success, no amount of money, no amount of love from others will fill that void. But if you are full inside, even the smallest blessings will feel like abundance. This is why you must stop waiting for something outside of you to grant you happiness. Stop saying, I'll be happy when I have that car, when I get that recognition, when someone finally loves me the way I deserve. Because here's the truth. If your happiness depends on people or circumstances, it will always be fragile. The moment those people leave, the moment those circumstances change, your happiness will collapse. Do you really want to live like that? Do you really want your peace to be so easily stolen? True happiness is untouchable. It is the kind of joy that no one can take away because it doesn't depend on anything outside of you. It is built from within. It is built from gratitude, from self-respect, from discipline, from the way you choose to see the world. That is why people who have less can often seem happier than those who have everything. Because happiness is not about possessions. It is about perspective. It is about being present. It is about choosing to love your life, even in its imperfections. Understand this. There is nothing wrong with wanting more for yourself. There is nothing wrong with setting goals, chasing dreams, or desiring growth. But your happiness cannot wait until you achieve those things. You cannot hold your joy hostage to your future. Because what if that future never arrives? What if life takes you in a different direction? Will you spend your entire existence miserable, waiting for something that may never come? Or will you learn to create happiness with what you have right now? You must take your power back. You must remind yourself that happiness is your responsibility and it starts inside of you. The job, the money, the love, they are extras, not foundations. Build your foundation within yourself and then everything else you gain will simply add to the joy you already carry. That is true freedom. That is how you stop being controlled by life. When you understand this, you stop chasing so hard. You stop begging life to give you happiness. You stop looking at other people's lives and comparing yours to theirs, because you finally realize that happiness is not about what you have. It is about how you see. You could have everything in the world and still feel empty, or you could have very little and still feel rich. The difference is inside of you. So ask yourself, where have you tied your happiness? To money, to achievements, to relationships, to validation? Whatever it is, recognize that it will never be enough if you do not build joy within yourself first. Push yourself to let go of those attachments. Push yourself to remember that even without those things, you are worthy of happiness. You deserve peace right now, not just later. The moment you stop tying your happiness to external things, you become untouchable. People can come and go, circumstances can rise and fall, storms can come and pass, but your joy will remain. Because it was never theirs to take, it was always yours to protect. And when you live like that, you stop chasing happiness and start living it. Push yourself to remember happiness is not found out there. It is not hiding in your next achievement. It is not waiting in someone else's love. It is right here inside of you, waiting for you to choose it. And once you choose it, once you build it within yourself, nothing in this world can take it away. There will be days when getting out of bed feels like climbing a mountain, days when the weight on your chest makes you want to stay down, when every part of you whispers that it would be easier to give up. Those are the days when happiness feels the furthest away. And yet, those are the exact days when you must fight the hardest for it. Because happiness is not built in comfort. It is built in resistance. It is built when you push yourself to rise, even when every part of you wants to collapse. Anyone can smile when life is easy. Anyone can feel joy when everything's going their way. But what sets you apart, what makes you powerful, is your ability to create happiness when life is heavy. To wake up on the hardest days and still say, I will not let this break me. That choice, repeated again and again, is what shapes you. It is what turns pain into strength. It is what transforms suffering into resilience. On your hardest days, your mind will try to convince you that joy is impossible. It will tell you that you are too tired, too broken, too defeated to even try. But that is the lie you must fight. Happiness in those moments may not look like laughter or a wide smile. It may look like simply choosing to keep going. It may look like breathing deeply when you want to scream. It may look like noticing one small thing to be grateful for when your world feels like it's falling apart. It may look like whispering to yourself, I am still here. That is happiness too, because happiness is not always loud. It is often quiet, gentle, steady. You must push yourself, especially on the days when it feels hardest, because if you can build happiness in those moments, then no storm will ever destroy you. Strength is not built when everything is perfect. Strength is built when nothing is certain, when the ground beneath you feels shaky, when your world feels dark and you still refuse to let your light die. There will be times when you cry, when you feel like you cannot carry the weight anymore. And that's okay. Cry if you need to. But after the tears rise, after the pain, stand. Push yourself to take one more step, to find one more reason, to hold on one more day. Happiness is not about never breaking down. It's about never staying down. It's about choosing to rise again and again, no matter how many times life knocks you down. You are stronger than you think. You have survived things you once thought would destroy you. And if you look back, you will see that it was not the easy days that shaped you, but the hard ones. It was not the smooth paths that built your character, but the mountains you climbed. The same will be true now. These hard days you are facing, they are not meant to take away your joy forever. They are meant to show you how powerful you really are when you refuse to let go of it. Push yourself to smile even when it feels forced. Push yourself to breathe even when your chest feels heavy. Push yourself to see light even if it is just a tiny flicker. Because the smallest act of choosing happiness in the darkest moment is what keeps your spirit alive. And the more you do it, the more you realize that your joy does not depend on what happens around you. It depends on the fire you refuse to let burn out inside of you. On the hardest days, happiness may feel like a battle, but battles are where warriors are made. And you are a warrior. You were not created to collapse every time life becomes hard. You were created to rise, to fight, to keep moving forward. And when you push yourself to choose happiness, even on the worst days, you are proving to yourself just how unstoppable you really are. So don't wait for life to get easier. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Happiness is not about waiting. It is about fighting. It is about rising. It is about choosing joy, even when it feels impossible. And if you can do that, if you can smile through your tears, if you can rise after every fall, if you can push yourself on your hardest days, then there is nothing in this world that can take your happiness away from you. Nobody is coming to save you. Nobody else can hand you peace. Nobody else can create happiness for you. Nobody else can carry the responsibility of your joy. This is something too many people forget. They wait for someone to come along and make them feel whole, to fix their pain, to give them the life they dream of. They wait for love, for recognition, for approval. But waiting only keeps you powerless. Because the truth is, your happiness is in your own hands, and it always has been. You cannot outsource your peace. You cannot depend on other people to keep your spirit alive, because people are human. They leave, they disappoint, they fail. If your happiness rests in their hands, then it will crumble the moment they walk away. And life is unpredictable. Circumstances change, jobs shift, money comes and goes. If you let your joy depend on those things, then your joy will always be fragile. But if you build it yourself from within, then no one can touch it. This is why personal responsibility is so important. You have to own your life. Own your energy, own your joy. You have to stop pointing fingers and saying, I can't be happy because of them, because of this, because of what happened to me. What happened to you was the pain you carry is real, but your healing, your peace, your happiness, that is your choice. Nobody can make that choice for you. There is power in realizing that you are the one responsible for your joy. At first, it feels heavy because now you cannot blame anyone else. But then it feels liberating because you no longer have to wait for anyone else either. You do not need permission to be happy. You do not need conditions to be met. You do not need someone to finally show up for you. You can choose it yourself right now. That is freedom. And yes, it takes strength. It takes discipline. It takes pushing yourself on the days when you don't feel like it. But think about it. Do you really want to live a life where your emotions are controlled by everyone and everything around you? Do you really want your happiness to vanish the moment someone hurts you or the moment life gets difficult? Or do you want to build something unshakable inside of you, something that cannot be touched no matter what happens outside of you? Taking responsibility for your happiness means you stop expecting others to fill your emptiness. It means you stop waiting for the world to change before you allow yourself to smile. It means you stop creating your own light, your own peace, your own reasons to feel joy. That doesn't mean you won't ever feel pain. It means you won't hand over your entire life to that pain. You'll feel it, process it, and then choose not to stay in it forever. And here's the truth. You are capable of this. You already have everything inside of you to create joy. You've survived enough to prove it. Every time life knocked you down, you got back up. Every time something ended, you found a way forward. You've been through dark moments before, and yet here you are, still breathing. That's proof of your strength. That's proof that you can carry yourself even when no one else is there to carry you. So stop waiting for people to treat you right before you allow yourself to be at peace. Stop waiting for the perfect timing, the perfect circumstances, the perfect love. They may never arrive in the way you expect them to. And even if they do, they will not sustain you if you haven't built happiness within yourself first. Push yourself to choose joy for yourself because you deserve it now, not later, not when someone else decides you're worthy, not when life finally feels easier. Now, you are responsible for the way you show up in the world. You are responsible for the energy you bring into your days. You are responsible for protecting your peace, for nurturing your spirit, for building your own joy. And when you accept that responsibility, you step into your power. Nobody can take that away. Nobody can give it to you either. It has always belonged to you. Push yourself. Push yourself to stop blaming, to stop waiting, to stop giving away your power. Push yourself to claim your happiness as your own responsibility. Push yourself to remember that even in your darkest moments, you still hold the choice. Because the moment you take ownership of your joy, you become unstoppable. The world may shake, people may leave, storms may come, but your happiness will remain because it was never theirs to control. It has always been yours to protect. Life is not meant to be perfect, and happiness is not about reaching a destination where nothing ever goes wrong. It is about learning how to carry joy with you, even in the middle of the storm. Too many people wait for the perfect moment to feel happy. They say to themselves, when I get the job, then I'll be happy. When I fall in love, then I'll be happy. When everything calms down, then I'll finally allow myself to breathe. But life doesn't work like that. There will always be something. There will always be challenges, struggles, uncertainties. If you keep waiting for the storm to pass, you'll spend your whole life waiting. Happiness is not in the absence of problems. It's in your ability to dance in the rain. You see, joy is not about controlling life. You can't control people. You can't control circumstances. You can't control every twist and turn that comes your way. The only thing you can control is yourself, your perspective, your attitude, your response. That's where your power is. That's where true happiness begins. Because the world will always give you reasons to stress, to worry, to complain. But you have to be the one who chooses to find a reason to smile anyway. Think about it. Some of the most peaceful, joyful people in the world are not the ones who have the most money or the most beauty or the easiest life. They are the ones who choose gratitude even in struggle. They are the ones who choose to focus on what they can control instead of what they can't. They are the ones who decide every single day that no matter what is happening around them, they will not allow life to steal the light from within them. This is the final truth. You will never escape hardship completely. You will never have a life without storms, but you can build a life where storms do not destroy you. You can build a mindset where challenges only make you stronger. You can build a heart that chooses happiness even when the world gives you reasons not to. That is real power. The mistake many people make is thinking happiness will arrive once everything is fixed. But the reality is, if you don't learn to choose joy now, you won't magically know how to choose it later either. Happiness is a practice. It's a daily decision. It's something you strengthen like a muscle. If you learn to be happy now, grateful for what you have now, at peace with where you are now, then when life does get better, your joy will only multiply. But if you keep postponing it, you will never reach it. Start small. Notice the little things, the warmth of your coffee, the sound of the wind, the way the sunlight touches your skin. Those small moments matter. Happiness is not always the big things. It's often hidden in the ordinary, in the things you overlook. Push yourself to see them, to feel them, to let them matter. That is how you teach your mind to create joy, even when life feels heavy. And let go of the illusion of control. Stop exhausting yourself trying to control everything and everyone. Life is not meant to be perfectly managed. It is meant to be lived. When you surrender to what you cannot change, you free yourself. When you stop clinging to perfection, you make space for peace. When you stop waiting for everything to be flawless, you give yourself permission to be happy now. It doesn't mean you won't still have goals. It doesn't mean you won't still dream or work or strive, but it does mean you won't make your happiness conditional on those things. It means you will enjoy the journey as much as the destination. It means you will find joy along the way, not just at the end. That is the kind of mindset that makes you untouchable, because no matter where you are still able to feel light, to feel gratitude, to feel alive. So stop waiting for the storm to end. Stop telling yourself you'll be happy someday. Push yourself to be happy now, even if life is messy, even if it's imperfect, even if it's hard, because that's where true strength lies. That's what separates those who merely survive from those who truly live. Anyone can be happy when everything is easy, but it takes real courage, real discipline, real power to be happy when life is not. And that is the kind of happiness no one can take away from you. Happiness in the end is not about the world outside of you. It is about the world you create inside of you. And once you understand that, once you practice it, once you push yourself to live it, you become free. You stop waiting. You stop searching. You stop depending. You start living. You start choosing. And you start realizing that happiness was never something to find. It was something to create all along.